Hello everyone, it's me, Traptor, and in this video I will be showing you how to set a static IP address in Windows 10. So, what is a static IP? Well, I'll explain to those who don't already know. If you already know what a static IP address is, skip to the time displayed on the screen right now. Also, I'm not an expert, so I'm sorry if I get anything wrong in this explanation. Okay, let's get started. So before I tell you what a static IP address is, you need to get a general idea of what an IP address is. In probably the simplest terms, there's a way to identify your device using numbers, but normally this number can actually change quite frequently. This is because most networks use DHCP, which assigns IP addresses, but only leases them to a device for a certain time. This can be a problem in certain situations such as server hosting, as if your IP keeps constantly changing, then each time it changes, you have to tell the server's users the new IP each and every time, and you have to redo your port forwarding. In situations like that, it is almost completely necessary to set what is called a static IP. A static IP is an IP which does not get its IP changed by DHCP, whether it be through computer settings or reserving it through the router. Okay, so before we start, have you subscribed yet? These videos take quite the effort to make, and we're so close to 50 subscribers. So, before we can start the process of setting a static IP, you're going to need to get some information about your network first. Open up Command Prompt. You'll want to type in the command ipconfig, I can't spell, /all, and then enter. I'm blurring stuff on my screen for privacy and security reasons. As a general rule, try not to give people more information about your number than you have to. Now, right here, you'll see 4 things you're going to need. You're going to want to write down the IPv4 address, the subnet mask, the default gateway, and the DNS servers. Now, on some computers, and especially mine, it'll display the DNS server address is a really odd number, like with text in it, that isn't a proper DNS server we can use later. In situations like that, you could probably use, in most situations, the 8.8.8.8 DNS server. So if you don't have a properly formatted DNS server, just use that. Okay, you can now close Command Prompt. You want to open up Windows Settings. Then open up the Network and Internet tab. From there, you want to click on Change Adapter Options. This will open a new window. From this window, select your network by double-clicking it. This will open yet another window. Click Properties on this window. You'll need to be an admin to do this. Now, this will bring up a list of items. From this list, select Internet Protocol version 4. On this window, click Use the following IP address. Then, from the data, enter the data you got earlier. If you're using 8.8.8.8 for your DNS server, you should use 8.8.4.4 for your preferred. Well, not preferred, for your alternate. Once you have everything entered, just click OK. Now, in that menu, you can set a custom IP, but you have to make sure that that IP is already not leased to any other device in the network, and you have to make sure it doesn't get leased to another device in the network, so it's a bit of a hassle. So I recommend that you just use the IP that you saw on Command Prompt, which is the one already leased to it. Alright, so if you don't want to go through all of that, there is another way, but I don't think this option is available on all networks, so it may not always work. The second way is to reserve your IP address for a device from the router. You'll need to get on the router page. How do you do this? Well, remember that default gateway I was talking about earlier? Well, if you put that in the browser, it will bring you to your router's admin page. Once you've gotten to the page, you'll need to log in. If you don't remember your password, you might want to contact your ISP for support. Once you've done that, find the DHCP tab. In My Router, that's where you set up IP reservations. If on your router is not in the DHCP tab, you may need to search around the router page. On the DHCP page, scroll down to Add Reserved Addresses. Click on it. Now, there'll be a drop-down box where you can select a device. Select any device. It'll automatically fill in the MAC address box. Then type in the IPv4 address you want to reserve to it. Just getting random numbers here. And then click apply, and that's it. Happy server hosting, or whatever else you needed it for.